Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's Damron. We're playing the Lego Harry Potter collection, which is a compilation of two older games that came out on the 360, which was Lego Harry Potter years 1 through 4 and then years 5 through 7. We are doing a complete collectible guide of getting all of the collectibles in the game so you can get 100% in both of those games. We're doing the year 8 story missions in this video. Again, we have been playing on free play mode as we going through these story missions. So let's get started with the first level in year 8. Again, it's years 5 through 7, but it considers kind of the 4th chapter, year 8 in the sense of the game. Nonetheless, the very first mission, let's go ahead and get started. Let's get our Gryffindor crest piece. The first thing that we're going to need to do is destroy 4 rocks with Reducto. The first one's right here to the left, and you do need to destroy them completely. So keep shooting them until you see the icon pop up. So you're going to see right here, 1 of 4. So just keep shooting them until you actually completely destroy it. So there's one there on the left, and then the other 3 are going to be on the right-hand side. So simply use your Reducto spell to completely destroy all 4 of those piles to get our first crest piece of year 8. After we've got that, we're going to get our first character. Again, this is Griphook, so this is actually a good character to come and pick up if you need a key character for other levels. But nonetheless, switch to a character that has the dark magic ability and use it to change this light on the right hand side, which is going to cause a cart to come around, and inside that cart is going to be a kind of stickable wall that you can place right here on this pillar, and also a Weasley box. So now pull that Weasley box over, use any Weasley character. You'll probably have Ron with you, and you'll get some sticky trainers in order to climb up that climbable wall and get our character token. Progressing on into the mission just a little bit, you're going to be inside this large vault. There's going to be some collectibles we're going to get in here. The first one, we're going to grab a dark magic character, and you can see this student in peril kind of trapped in this cage. Use your dark magic on that character in order to free that student in peril. Now we're going to get our Ravenclaw crest piece. Let's go ahead and switch to a character that has very strong. So Dudley's usually our guy. In the right hand side, all the way close to the screen, is a cabinet or kind of chest you can pull the handle on with a very strong character. Now we can use Wingardium Leviosa on the pieces that come out to build a Spectrospecs dispenser. Now that we've been able to put those on, go to the back right of the room and you can see some invisible Lego pieces. Now we're going to be able to construct those, and once you build that little statue, simply shoot the mask and you'll get your piece. Switch back now to a dark magic character. We're going to stay on the right side of this vault here. So switch back to our dark magic character, and you probably saw a small black and red chest here. Simply open that, and there'll be a scroll that you can now unroll and show a picture of Voldemort, and also spawn our next character token. Moving on to the Slytherin crest piece, we're going to stick with our dark magic character. We're going to go kind of in the foreground on the left hand side, so kind of the front of the screen on the left, you'll see a small music box that you can interact with a dark magic character. Interact with that with dark magic to get our Slytherin crest piece. Still in the vault, we're going to get our next and final character token of the level. On the front left, you should see another kind of claw that you can interact with dark magic, which will crush that kind of orb that's in the claw and allow you to pick up this mask. Simply bring this mask over to the other 2 that are sitting here, and once all 3 are there, you'll get a small little cutscene of them kind of making some music, and after that is finished, your final character token of the mission will spawn right here for you to pick up. Moving on, once you kind of get back to the area where the dragon was, so this is after you progress a little bit, head all the way to the left-hand side. You're going to find a chest that you can break with a very strong character, so use Dudley to go ahead and bust that open, or Hagrid if you want to. That, again, is going to allow us to build a Spectrospecs dispenser, so go ahead and put those on. And once you put those on, head to the right-hand side. You should see some invisible Lego pieces kind of out in the open, which is allow you going to build a Lego pig roast. And once you kind of build that roast, simply turn the handle with your Wingardium Leviosa. Eventually it'll spin around really fast, break, and spawn our final crest piece of the mission. So moving on to the second level in year 8, which is back to school. Again, we're progressing our way through the final year in our collectible guide, so we are getting there. As always, we're in free play mode. In years 5 through 7, it typically is going to give you all the characters that you need as long as you have them unlocked. So the first thing that we're going to do in this mission is we're going to get our Gryffindor crest piece. We need to shoot 3 wanted posters. The first one's right there to your right. The second one, now I've already cleared this out, so you're going to have to do some steps to clear out the barricade to get to the back of this path. But once you do clear out that, the second wanted poster is right there to the right, and the third wanted poster is all the way at the end of the path. Shoot all of those and you'll get your Gryffindor crest piece. Moving kind of back where we used the wood chipper to kind of take out the barricade, now you'll be able to use all the pieces that broke in order to construct an outhouse. Once you construct that, continue south a little bit further and use a dark magic character on these rocks that are sitting right here in the path. Breaking those will spawn a key that you can now use on the outhouse. When you use that on the outhouse, the character that's in there will head out and your character token will spawn inside the outhouse for you to pick up. Moving on into the mission, when you get to the room of requirement, immediately where you spawn, just behind you is a safe that you can open with a safe key character. So use Griphook or whoever you have to open up that safe and grab our Hufflepuff crest piece. Alright, from that safe, we're going to get our next student in peril. Just head towards the screen all the way to the left-hand side. You'll see his legs kind of hanging down. He's kind of hanging on this drape up here. So simply just shoot him with any spell. He'll fall down, and you'll rescue that student in peril. Still in the room of requirement, we're going to get our next character token. We're going to head all the way to the right-hand side of the room with a very strong character. So whip out Dudley or Hagrid or whoever you like to bring. And on the right-hand side, you'll see a small chest that you can pull, again, with a very strong character. And when you break that, the token will spawn right there for you to pick up. Moving to the Great Hall, so this is where you're going to be supposed to duel. And before you do the duels, there's a couple collectibles that we want to get in here. The first one is on the left-hand side, our Slytherin crest piece. There are 3 statues that we need to blow up with our Reducto spell. So simply shoot all 3 of those, and that will spawn the crest piece for you to pick up. After you've picked that up, now we're also going to get our Ravenclaw crest piece. We need to have a book character, so that's going to be Hermione. On the right side of the room, there is a book cabinet that we can interact with as long as we have a character that can interact with these. Again, so you're probably always going to have Hermione with you, but simply interact with that bookcase, and that's going to spawn our final crest piece of the level. And then our final character of the level is actually in the back right corner of the Great Hall. You need to switch to a character that has dark magic. You're going to see a lock on a chest. You need to break that lock with dark magic, and then you need to shoot the chest with any spell, and that's going to give you your final character token of the mission and our final collectible of the mission itself. So we're heading on to the third mission in year 8, which is Burning Bridges. Again, playing in free play mode, I do recommend kind of waiting to go after all these collectibles until you've beaten it and we can come back in free play. So as soon as you start this mission, we're going to switch to a dark magic character, head down the little stairwell. There's going to be a small case on top of this aquarium that you can break with dark magic. Once you've broken the top, now you can actually fill it up with water. I was having a hard time getting this. I was aiming at it, but it wasn't filling up. But once you do aim at it, it will fill up, and the Slytherin crest piece will pop out for you to pick up. Once you've kind of broken the barrier, you're going to use like a hammer and chisel to break this barrier to kind of go down the hallway to the right. Again, this is right where that aquarium was that we just filled up with water. There is a light that we can pick up with Deluminator. So, you know, switch to Ron or whoever has your Deluminator spell and grab that light. And now we're going to head to the right-hand side, and we're going to put it in between these kind of 2 little faces right here on the wall. And when you put the light up there, then they will kind of open up. And now you can shoot Augmenti at them, and it's going to fill the balloon above their heads up until they pop. Once you pop both of the balloons above those little faces, you know, I don't know if they're little statues or whatever, then the Hufflepuff crest piece will spawn for you to pick up. Just a little bit further on, after you kind of use this water bowl to put out this fire, you just need to shoot the statue that was holding the water that you picked up, and he will give you your next character token. Progressing on to the wooden bridge area of this mission, right at the beginning, you're going to switch to Ron. There is a Deluminator light that we can grab right down this path to the right-hand side. So go ahead and pick that up and then head back right. Again, this is right where you start this area. The one you want to put it on is kind of hard to see, but it's right up next to this spider. You can barely see it behind the bridge, you know, support structures there. But once you put it there, the spider will kind of crawl up and release a Weasley box, so we can interact with the Weasley box with any character in order to get the sticky trainers and climb up this wall and get Seamus. Moving on, okay, so all the way at the end of this bridge section, this is the 5th piece of dynamite. So you can see at the top I've used 4 of 5. Do not use the 5th one yet. Once you use the 5th one, it's going to get a cutscene and progress to the next section of the level. Past that 5th piece of dynamite, you want to keep going up the path, and if you go up there, there's a rock-like structure that you can break with dark magic. Once you do that, then you will get an option to fill up or, you know, water this root actually of this plant that's kind of up above you. And when you do that, it'll spit out your student in peril and you will rescue him. Again, you must do this before you use the 5th piece of dynamite. So once you've used that, actually you're going to be in the next section of the level, which is this cave-like area. And the first thing that we're going to do is get our next character token. And the first thing that you're going to have to do to get that is on the right-hand side, there are 2 rock piles that you need to interact with dark magic in order to make them explode. Okay, so once you've done that, switch to Hermione, because one of them on the front is going to be a pink base plate. Use that, and it's going to spawn like a snake-like, you know, statue to sit right there. And then the other one that you broke will be a dig spot where you can dig up a green jewel. Simply take that green jewel to the snake statue, and that'll spawn your next character token. Right beside that little snake statue that we just built, you'll see kind of 3 worms wiggling around right here. Simply use Wingardium Leviosa to pick them up and drop them back into the water. And once you drop all 3 back into the water, you're going to get your Ravenclaw crest piece. Alright, our final collectible of this mission is the Gryffindor crest piece, and for this we need to basically make 3 skeletons in this underground area. The first one is actually right beside you, right where you spawn into this underground area, right here on the left hand side. So go ahead and use Wingardium Leviosa to build him, and he'll dance a little bit. Once you get to the point where you've opened the door into the Chamber of Secrets, the second skeleton is immediately on your left. There's going to be a webbing right there in kind of that snake's mouth. You need to shoot it in order to get the pieces to fall down, and then you can use Wingardium Leviosa to build it, and he will continue to dance. Then progressing in after you've used the drill to kind of make your way to the final area, immediately on your right hand side you're going to see a dig spot. You need to use Crookshanks or any dig character to dig up these skeleton pieces, and then use Wingardium Leviosa to make it dance, and that'll be our 3rd and final one to get our final crest piece, the Gryffindor crest piece, in this mission. So that's everything in that mission. We're moving on to mission 4 in year 8, which is Fiendfyre Frenzy. So we're going to get started in this really quickly, as always in free play mode. So let's get right into it. The very first thing that we're going to get is our Ravenclaw crest piece. After you use the cauldron to kind of blow up that first little barrier right in the beginning of the mission, immediately on your left hand side is a latch that you can interact with dark magic. So use a dark magic character, and you're then going to have to use again magic to open up the cage. Once you've done that, you'll be able to fill up this creature's mouth with Augmenti. So once you completely fill it up with water, it will spit out your Ravenclaw crest piece. Progressing forward just a little bit, once you use the catapult to kind of break apart the next barrier. Again, this is the next barrier that you're going to come across. Immediately after that, just progress forward, and on your right hand side you're going to see a student in peril twisted up in this hammock. Simply shoot the hammock in order to rescue that student in peril. Next up is our Gryffindor crest piece. This is going to encompass this first area and the second area. So just south of where that student in peril was, there is a chest that you can use Wingardium Leviosa on. Simply use that, it will spit out this skeleton, and once you rebuild the skeleton, he'll be dancing, and that's first of 3 that we need to do for the Gryffindor crest piece. The second and third are going to be in the next area. So once you get to the next area, immediately on the left hand side is a second chest. Again, just use Wingardium Leviosa on it and then build the skeleton. You don't need to shoot them. I'm just shoot them for the pieces. You don't have to shoot them. But then head all the way to the right hand side. You're going to see a statue of a dragon. Shoot it to open its mouth, and you can use a very strong character then subsequently break the dragon by pulling it apart. And then after you can do that, you can go past the dragon. On the left is a chest with our 3rd and final skeleton that we need to rebuild to get the Gryffindor crest piece. Also on the right hand side behind that dragon that we broke is our Hufflepuff crest piece. There's a large music box all the way to the right, tucked up next to the wall. Simply use Wingardium Leviosa on the handle and it will have a nice dancing figurine to spawn, as well as the Hufflepuff crest piece when it's over. Moving on to the Slytherin crest piece, this is kind of in the very first area that's got some fire in it. You're going to be kind of moving along all of these luggage and couches and things. Immediately right in the middle of the first path is a dark magic cage that you can interact with. Simply use your dark magic on that to get the Slytherin crest piece. Moving forward just a little bit, you're going to have a small cutscene of this fire dragon breaking the path a little bit. Right after that, immediately to your right, you're going to see a safe. It's sitting right out in the open. You can't miss it. So simply use a safe character to open that up and get our first character token of the mission. Moving into the area where you're going to be saving Malfoy and all of his friends back there, immediately get on a broom and we're going to head towards the screen. So in the back left of the room, you're going to see this platform that's going to have a chest that you can use Wingardium Leviosa. Simply build that, and what you're going to build is a bed that you can jump on, and you'll be able to, press A to jump high and get Tom Riddle. In the same room, we're going to get our third and final character token of the mission. Hop back on the broom and head to the right. So now we're on the bottom right platform of the room. So there's 5 platforms, right? The central one you spawn at, top right, top left, bottom right. So we're in the bottom right. There's going to be an item that you can repair with a repair character like Arthur. So go ahead and repair that, and it will just hop off into the fire, and it will give you the last character token and the last collectible of mission 4. So we are moving on to mission 5, Snape's Tears in year 8. We have 2 more missions to go in all of the story mission collectibles, so we are getting there. Exciting right to be right near the end. So here we go, free play mode. Right in the very beginning of this mission, we're going to switch to a character that has dark magic and take this little path that's kind of behind the climbable wall. You're going to see some rocks there you can use dark magic on to break and get your first character token of the mission. Once you progress further enough to make the giant kind of run through the wall, you're going to have used a winch to do so. After that cutscene has happened, switch to a dark magic character and you'll be able to use dark magic on the winch that we just used, and that's going to cause the gate to kind of go down halfway and also spawn the Gryffindor crest piece. So we're going to grab that when we hop down, but before we hop down, we're going to do the first part of our Slytherin crest piece. So this is broken up into 2 parts because we're going to have 2 sections of the level that we got to get. So the first one is right here to the right of that winch. We just need to use dark magic on that chest. Again, be sure you grab the Gryffindor crest piece before we head on. As we kind of head further, we're going to be second of 3 chests of our Slytherin crest piece. We're going to be fighting a giant on a wall. You're going to have to use a catapult, but just below him to the left is our second chest. So we'll get the third one just a little bit later. The next thing that we're going to get is our second character token of the mission. After you've cleared out that giant and we progress past him, you're going to be going along this path and you're going to see a safe sitting in the wall here. Just jump in, through the hole in the wall, use a safe key character on that vault, and that'll spawn our next character token. Alright, progressing on from that safe, we're going to get our next student in peril. Just head to the right. You're going to come to an intersection where there's a giant holding a Quidditch goal. Continue to the right instead of going up towards him, and you're going to find a student in peril being attacked by 2 Death Eaters. You simply need to shoot both of those Death Eaters, and when both of them have died, you will rescue the student in peril. Now we're going to get our third and final portion of the Slytherin crest piece. You're going to have to use your invisible cloak in order to sneak past this giant that has the Quidditch goalpost, and to the left of him is that third and final chest that we need to use dark magic on in order to spawn our Slytherin crest piece. So blow that up and grab that piece. Moving on into the next section of the level, we're going to be in the boathouse. After you have kind of reeled in this black and red fish in order to open the gate to progress through, which is what you have to do to progress, so you have to do this portion. Now you can switch to a dark magic character, and when you can use dark magic on that fish 2 times, and once you've completely destroyed it, you will get the character Professor Snape. still in this boathouse, once you've kind of made your way to the back center portion of this, head to the left hand side and you're going to see a skeleton kind of in a broken rowboat. Simply use your repair character Arthur to repair that. You're going to see a cutscene of the skeleton walking off with these beautiful legs on his rowboat now, and eventually he's going to jump in the central portion and the crest piece will spawn in the boat with him, so you'll need to run back there and pick that up from the boat. After you've picked that up, now we're going to jump back up and we're going to get our Hufflepuff crest piece. We need to switch to a very strong character. This is very hard to see, but on the back right of the wall, you can barely see an orange handle that you can break with a very strong character. Doing so will give you the Hufflepuff crest piece and also finish off mission 5 in year 8. So we are on the final mission of all of the story collectibles in year 8 of all of the years, the Flaw in the Plan. So we are on free play mode. Let's get this last level done. The first thing that we're going to do is get our Hufflepuff crest piece. In the initial starting area, you're going to have to dig up 3 dig spots. The first one is right behind you, right where you spawn, so you can see that right there. The second one is to the right of this kind of large rubble pile in the central portion of this starting area. And the third one is just south of the second one, so kind of cross over that path to kind of towards the screen. You're going to find your third and final dig spot, and once you've dug up all of those, you'll get your Hufflepuff crest piece. From that dig spot, now we're going to get our Student in Peril. This is a nice one to get because you get a lot of studs for this, so you could actually replay this mission and just do the initial portion and get a bunch of studs. But essentially pull that safe out of the rubble with Wingardium Leviosa and then use a key character to open it up. Once open, the Student in Peril will actually still be kind of protected by a Death Eater or held hostage by a Death Eater. So kill the Death Eater and you will save our final Student in Peril of all of our story missions and get a bunch of Lego studs at the same time. The next thing that we're going to be getting is our character Kingsley Shacklebolt. We actually are going to have to do this in 2 parts because there's 5 sets of small fires that we need to put out in order to get him. The first are in this area, the first 3 I should say, 1 to the left, 1 right in front of the rubble pile, and 1 to the right of the giant. So that's 3 of 5. We're going to get the other 2 later. So moving on to the underground bridge area, we're going to get our Gryffindor crest piece. Once you use the weight to kind of weigh down the bridge so you can cross, immediately cross, head towards the screen in order to get that crest piece. And then to get our Ravenclaw crest piece, just head directly opposite of where we got the Gryffindor crest piece, and there's going to be a handle that we can use a very strong character on in order to get access to the Spectrospecs dispenser. Put those Spectrospecs on, and now we're going to head to the left-hand side of this kind of under the bridge area. This is actually where you start right here, and then if you head forward from where you start, you're going to see some invisible Lego pieces that we can now build into a chest. Once you build that, simply shoot it with any spell, and that's going to spawn our Ravenclaw crest piece. Next up is our Slytherin crest piece. Once you've kind of built the trampoline to progress, and you're actually going to be building that bridge to head and fight Bellatrix, before you do that, continue heading to the right. You're going to see a kind of book that you can interact with dark magic. Blow that up to get your Slytherin crest piece. Next up is the character token Bellatrix Lestrange. This is an automatic character token, so you're going to get this from your normal story playthrough. The game is going to give you this character token simply for defeating her throughout your playthrough, so you're probably already going to have that. Don't worry about it. So part 2 of our first character, once you've kind of got past the bridge and you're fighting Nagini again, our 4th fire that we need to put out is immediately to the right where you're going to start in, and our 5th fire that we need to put out, you're going to have to head around all this battle to find this pile kind of sitting up in this rubble. Once you've put all 5 of those out, you will get Kingsley Shacklebolt. For our final character token of all of our story playthroughs, of course it's got to be Lord Voldemort. We're going to head to the right hand side of this area. You can find it right here in this path, just sitting right here in the open. So that's going to wrap it up. That is all of the collectibles, not only in year 8, but we've done years 1 through year 8. We got all the Students in Peril, all of the character tokens, all of the house crests. So all of your years 5 through 7 missions should be done in this section of the game. The only thing you may have left to do is go back and get True Wizard, which is to get the kind of best score with the studs. You can always do that later with some of the score bonuses because you will have to get the gold bricks for getting the True Wizard. So I hope you guys found this helpful. As always, hopefully I'll see you in the Hogwarts section, the hub section of our collectible guide, and hopefully that helps you all out, and I'll see you around.